Imagine living in a world where vampires really exist. They're not sparkling romantics. They're immortal predators who blend into human society, pulling strings from the shadows. For centuries, they've operated under something called the Masquerade, a strict code that keeps their existence hidden from mortals. But in recent years, that veil has been torn, and humanity has started hunting back. That's the Second Inquisition. The name sounds like a single organization, but it's actually more like a label the vampires use for a new era of mortal hunters. In the 21st century, government agencies, churches, tech geeks, and even a few amateur vigilantes discovered the truth about vampires and decided to wipe them out. It's called the Second Inquisition because the first one happened in medieval times when the Catholic Church burned heretics and monsters alike. This modern incarnation is just as deadly, but it uses drones and surveillance instead of torches and pitchforks. The origin story reads like a spy thriller. Vampires, particularly the Nosferatu clan, used to share secrets on a hidden dark web network called ShrekNet. US intelligence agencies, think NSA and CIA, detected some strange traffic on this network. When they cracked it, they didn't just find hackers, they found centuries of vampire secrets. Shocked, they quietly reached out to the Vatican's old monster hunters, the Society of Leopold, and a few trusted allies in the UK, Brazil, and Russia. Together, they formed a secret coalition nicknamed the Newburgh Group. In the US, the program was disguised as a counter-terrorism unit called First Light. Once the hunters had the vampires' addresses and bank accounts, they went on the offensive. In 2008, a joint team of American Special Forces, Vatican exorcists, and Brazilian hunters attacked the Tremere clan's stronghold in Vienna. They massacred most of the resident vampires and destroyed centuries of magical research. It wasn't the last strike. Similar raids wiped out vampire nests in London, Las Vegas, Paris, and Marseille. Meanwhile, the ShrekNet leak gave hunters everything they needed to track kindred and forced the vampires to abandon their online lives overnight. So, who are the hunters? There isn't one single Second Inquisition. It's a patchwork of groups. The Coalition, aka the Five Torches, the core alliance of the US, UK, Brazil, Russia, and the Vatican. These agencies share intelligence, black budgets, and military hardware. First Light is the American arm of this coalition. Law enforcement, local cops and federal agents who discover vampire crimes. They're useful because they know their communities, even if they lack fancy anti-vampire equipment. Organized crime. Some mafia groups hate competition. They'd rather deal with mortal predators than immortal ones, so they cooperate with hunters to keep vampires out of their businesses. Online conspiracy theorists. Think of forums and Reddit threads where people piece together vampire myths and police reports. Sometimes they stumble onto real leads and hand them over to the pros. Amateurs. Individuals fueled by loss or obsession who decide to hunt vampires on their own. They make up for their lack of training with sheer determination and occasionally get themselves killed. Religious orders. The Society of Leopold brings centuries of experience hunting monsters. Evangelical groups, radical Islamic cells, and occult societies also get involved, convinced they're fighting evil incarnate. There are several major campaigns and consequences in this conflict. Crippling the Tremere. The Vienna attack decimated the Tremere, a clan of blood sorcerers. Without their elders, the clan splintered and lost political power. Data war. After ShrekNet fell, centuries of vampire secrets were in mortal hands. Bank accounts, addresses, genealogies, everything. Vampires had to abandon email, social media, and even cell phones to avoid detection. The Camarilla, the vampire equivalent of Old World nobility, banned digital communication entirely. Their elders reverted to dead drops, ciphers, and couriers. The Beckoning. Around the same time, an eerie supernatural summons called the Beckoning started luring ancient vampires to the Middle East and North Africa. Nobody knows why. The sudden absence of elders left many vampire communities leaderless and vulnerable. Anarch revolts. Younger vampires in the Anarch movement blamed the Camarilla for cooperating with human hunters. They rose up, overthrowing princes and declaring their own territories. Because Anarchs are more tech-savvy and flexible, some survived by using burner phones, encryption, and hacker friends. Sabbat collapse. The Sabbat, a violent sect that rejects the Masquerade entirely, was nearly wiped out. Their cult-like packs were easy targets. Survivors fled to the Gehenna War in the Middle East, convinced they're fighting ancient vampire gods. Thin Bloods and odd alliances. Thin-blooded vampires, those far removed from the original vampire bloodline, can pass for human. They often slip through the hunter's net and sometimes become informants in exchange for safety. Other clans, like the Hekata, necromancers, or Banu Hakim, assassins, cut deals with the Inquisition, trading secrets about rivals to protect themselves. What are the tactics and technology being used? The Second Inquisition blends faith with cutting-edge science. They use incendiary rounds and dragon's breath shotgun shells to ignite vampires, UV lasers and spotlights that mimic sunlight, drones with heat and infrared sensors to scan rooftops and basements, AI algorithms to trawl social media for patterns like missing persons with puncture wounds, holy relics and prayers to weaken supernatural resistance, chemical tests that detect vampire blood at crime scenes. They're not just killing vampires, they're studying them in labs, trying to understand their weaknesses and biology. That's why some raids end with kindred dragged off to hidden facilities rather than burned on the spot. Now, the real question is how each vampire sect responds. Camarilla, the ancient princes clamp down hard. No texts, no emails. They go back to spycraft. Invisible ink, coded letters, ghoul couriers. Breaking the Masquerade or using digital devices is punishable by final death. Some princes even bargain with mortals, sacrificing rival vampires to save their own domains. Anarchs, they're more nimble. They keep using tech but smarter. Burner phones, encrypted apps, deepfakes. They network with human hackers and activists. It's a gamble. Some get caught, others thrive by being unpredictable. Sabbat, basically shattered. What's left of them is all fighting the Gehenna War, hoping to devour ancient vampire gods before the Inquisition does. Thin Bloods and smaller clans. Thin Bloods hide in plain sight. Hekata, Banu Hakim, and Ministry vampires negotiate uneasy truces or slip into legitimate businesses. Shape-shifting Zemise literally change their faces and vanish. The Second Inquisition changes everything about how vampires live. It punishes recklessness, elevates younger vampires who can blend in, and breaks the old feudal systems. The story of modern Vampire the Masquerade is no longer just about vampires plotting against each other. It's about vampires learning that the biggest threat might be the humans they've been feeding on for millennia. So, if you're stepping into the world of darkness for the first time, remember, the scariest monsters aren't always the ones in the shadows. Sometimes they're sitting in an office, reading your email, and planning a raid. The Second Inquisition is what happens when humanity wakes up, looks the monsters in the eye, and says, "Not on our watch." So what do you think? Is the Second Inquisition humanity's greatest weapon? Or just another monster hiding behind a badge and a gun? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. If you enjoyed this dive into the hunters of the world of darkness, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next chapter in the Masquerade. The Inquisition is watching. The only way to keep the truth alive is to keep talking about it. Share your theories in the comments, and join me next time as we uncover more secrets of the world of darkness.